When I started parkour, there used to be a lot more focus on the conditioning and the rehabilitation side and the longevity and the truism of the David Bell quote, to be strong, to be useful, and birds. That's something that I really wanted to bring to the focus of the community today, is the, I wouldn't say lack of conditioning, but the focus shift to skill hacking and skill set building. It's a great way to get gratification and to feel like you've achieved, but conditioning is something that I feel is being lost in our community. And a lot of these people who've been telling me I'm gonna have knee problems, I'm gonna not be able to walk for 10 years, they don't understand that when I started and when a lot of these older tracers started, the focus was on conditioning and making yourself strong enough to be able to do the achievements you want to do. Today I just want to take you through some basic stretches that I do every day just to keep myself limber. If you would like me to shoot a video of the types of conditioning that I've done over the years, just let me know in the comments below. And I want to talk to you guys a little bit about mentality and being ready for concrete.
Truck driver, fast car rider. Hear them horses coming, what you gon' do? Get out the way, move, move. You driving backwards to my pedal on the floor. When you see me pull over, I think I on the road. Don't let you roll it, hold on tight. 2 hands on the steering wheel, sharp left and quick right. Got a brain, feel the race.
So right now I'm going to take you through 5 stretches that I usually do in the shower except for one, but you can do them anywhere, and they're just a really nice way at the end of a session to loosen up the legs all around. So the first one is just your simple hamstring stretch, reaching down, touching your toes. If you can already touch your toes, you want to grab behind your ankles, sink your belly button towards your knees and your chest towards your toes. Number 2 is sitting down. This one you usually can't do in the shower. Legs out to the side and reaching forwards, parallel and straight, and pulling it towards the ground. Oh, I'm tight today. When you're doing stretching, breathing is really important. Oh no! Number 3 is the quad stretch. Number 4, that's 8, is sitting on the floor, feet together. Some people call it butterfly, some people call it frog, I don't know. But I just like to try and sit, press my knees towards the ground for about 30 seconds. And also, same as when we were sitting with our legs apart, we're going to bring our belly button forwards and our chest towards the ground. Now number 5 is the more interesting one and the one I wanted to talk to you guys about, and it does your ITB band. And the ITB band is kind of like an elastic band that holds your knee and your hip together, other than all the muscles and bones obviously, but it can get very, very tight and cause you a lot of tension and actually pull on your kneecap. And I feel like a lot of people are unaware that their ITB is something that really affects their knee and their knee pain. And I've seen a lot of athletes who had knee problems and then started doing ITB recovery and have been able to continue training. So this one is a quick one. I always do it definitely in the shower, just like our hamstring stretch. 2 feet together, but what we're going to do is we're going to tuck one leg behind, so in this instance our right leg, and then reach over our left leg to our right heel. So we have nice and slow, and of course other side. So after doing these, I like to go back to 1 and do my hamstring stretch 1 more time. And usually I find that I can get more flexibility and reach straight away. compare that to the first one, you can see there's a big difference in where I'm able to get my body. Now usually I use the hashtag ready for concrete, ironically, when something is definitely not ready for concrete. But for me, it actually means something a little more than that. I can't explain why, but I have this firm belief in my head that to be able to do something and to say that you can do something, you should be able to do it on concrete or in any situation, be that grass, gravel, sand, pebble, concrete. To truly be able to do something, you should be able to do it in any environment, in any situation. And I see a lot of people out there and they're like, oh, I can do double cork, I can do triple this, triple that, and they've only ever done it inside a gym. And I feel like for free running, that's selling yourself short. There's so much more potential to be done outside in a natural environment where you can really push yourself mentally as well as physically. But I want you guys to have a think, because it's subjective to each and every free runner. What do you define as can? If you can do it on grass, if you can do it once ever, or if you can do it every time. I'd also like you guys to have a think about how you take that into your training. Do you go out there and do you kind of just try and get something one time and say, tick, that's off my checklist? Or do you try and go out there and drill and solidify something until you can do it almost like second nature or on instinct?
Oh, Dom! Fucking hell, bruv! Jesus. Too deep, wow. Talking truth is my duty.
Another huge factor with doing anything to concrete is the mental factor. This is one of the hardest things to break and also one of the hardest things to teach. I personally, as you may have seen, have less issues with the fear barriers and more issues with staying on my feet. The biggest tip I would give with any of these things is confidence. You need to trust yourself. You need to know, I can do it, and if I don't do it 100%, I'm not going to be dead. It's going to be fine. You're going to be able to use your instincts and use your previous training to catch yourself, hold yourself, and it's all about staying strong and not scared in the moment. Do it! Now specifically with big front flips and diving off a high height or jumping off something high or being in the air for a long time, these moves really just take being calm for an extended period of time. So being in the zone for more than just a half second of a flip. If you freak out in the middle of the air on a diving front, that's when over rotations, under rotations, and breaks happen. It's really important to stay zen. So a few things I like to do before I go for it is I'll go to the bottom and I'll check the surface and I'll do a roll, make sure that I feel confident with the ground. Maybe make sure there's no obstructions, that sort of thing, gonna dig into me. Then I'll go up to the top and I'll peer over the top, and often you'll see me reach out with my hands, diving out in front, and that's just so that I can feel how much height I'm gonna need to clear whatever I'm diving over, but also where I aim to land. I'm usually pointing the end of my fingertips at the ground down towards where I want to land. So one other thing you might see me do is stomp my feet, and I do this just to wake up the senses and to make sure that my feet are aware they're going to take quite a big drop and impact. Have you ever sat on the edge of something, hung your feet for a little bit, jumped off, and you realize, oh, that landing was super painful because all the blood had rushed to my feet? So I'm essentially doing the opposite of that and getting rid of all the blood that's in my feet lingering there. I don't know how that works, but it works. Third and finally, I like to onomatopeia the front flip in my head. Onomatopeia is a word that describes a sound effect or is a sound effect, like whoosh, bam, ha, powie, bang, kia, hua, yoshimitsu. No, that's not actually one. But for me, I like to use the rhythm of hua, tu, ha, boom. And that way I can sound it out in my head and visualize where I need to dive to, where I need to tuck, and where I need to open to make sure that everything goes well. I'll give you a little example. Here, ha, boom, and I'll stare at where I'm gonna land and really visualize myself landing on that spot and doing a nice roll. Nice roll. It's really about that one moment of focus and concentration and trusting that you've done it 150,000 times before and you know that you will do it with 100% success. Alright friends, I hope that's given you some insight into mentality and rehabilitation and made you think about conditioning your body for these jumps that you want to do. Remember, we've got 6 videos coming out a week, so if you hit that subscribe button, this day will be better than Pasha's next week, I promise you. Maybe. Probably not, he's the boss.